partnerships, new jobs, and by supporting Canada's security and economic prosperity, Hanwha is committed to a stronger Canada.
Hi, my name is Earl.
Hi, I'm Vicki, and welcome to Muskoka Woods.
Selma, this cruise ship is expected to dock in the Canary Islands this weekend. What exactly is going to happen?
This is a really complicated and sensitive operation to get these passengers off the boat safely, of course, while also keeping them in isolation. It's something that the Spanish authorities have continued to address. There is on the Canary Islands against understand just how sensitive of an issue it is. Now, Spanish authorities say they have a system in place. It's going to be a closed circuit loop. There are medical facilities treating those citizens to their individual countries. You have more than 20 different countries among more than 140 people. So Spanish authorities right now are speaking to each of these individual nations to figure out what their plans are for bringing their citizens home. Let me give you the UK as an example because they're monitoring several cases. They have 3 suspected cases right now that they're monitoring. One is in a hospital in Johannesburg, one is a hospital in the Netherlands, one is on an island, a remote island in the Atlantic, and then they're dealing with several other Britons who are on board that ship. They're speaking with Spanish authorities about providing specialist flights in order to evacuate them. And then once they arrive here in the UK, they're going to be asked to isolate for 45 days. But this is a mammoth operation and a very complex mission.
It certainly is, Selma Abdelaziz. Thank you so much. And let's go now to CNN's Pal Mascara in Madrid. Pal, what are Spanish authorities saying about the hantavirus outbreak ahead of the cruise ship docking?
Well, Pamela, they have been trying over the last hours to reassure the local population that there is no risk of contagion, or that at least is very low. A message they have been also sharing with the regional authorities that they have opposed of the ship docking into the port of Granadilla de Abona. And actually, to demonstrate that everything is going to happen safely, they have finally defined the protocol on which they are going to transfer all the passengers from the boat to their respective countries. In the case of the 14 Spanish people that are on board of the cruise ship, they're going to be taken here to the Spanish capital, and actually they're going to be moved to the hospital that you can see here behind me. This is a military hospital, and in the very last floor of the building they have a high-level isolation unit that they...
All right, so I do have an update on the hantavirus. Today is May 8th. The hantavirus cruise outbreak sounds scary, but this is not another COVID situation, thankfully. Health officials are tracking a cluster linked to the MV Hondius cruise ship with 8 reported cases, 5 confirmed infections, and unfortunately 3 deaths. The important update is that this appears to involve the Andes virus, which is a type of hantavirus that can rarely spread person to person, but that usually requires close and prolonged contact. This is very different from viruses like COVID or the flu that can spread easily through everyday respiratory exposure. Most hantavirus infections happen from exposure to infected rodents, especially when people inhale particles from contaminated urine, droppings, or saliva. Symptoms often start like a viral illness with fever, body aches, stomach symptoms, or headache, but severe cases can progress quickly into pneumonia, breathing difficulty, low blood pressure, and even shock. That's why this is being taken seriously. WHO has actually deployed experts, arranged diagnostic testing, and is coordinating with multiple countries to monitor passengers and prevent further spread. But the key takeaway for the public is this: WHO still assesses the public health risk as low. This is a serious, localized outbreak, not something spreading through normal travel and interactions. So awareness matters, but panic does not. All right, so I do have
This is a technical update for the Hantavirus cruise ship outbreak. Today is May 9th, 2026, and this update comes from an official document of the World Health Organization, on May 8th, that 8 cases of Hantavirus confirmed by laboratory results, and 2 were probable, with 3 resulting in death, making a case fatality rate of about 38%. The World Health Organization still says that the risk to the global population is low, but for those who are on the ship, including the crew and passengers, their risk is moderate. Keep in mind, these people are in close quarters and they have shared air circulation, so this is a different situation than for the general public. The first case was likely from a Dutch male who passed away and did not get samples taken. It was a probable case after they had traveled throughout South America for about 3 months and then boarded the ship on April 1st and likely contracted this virus while bird watching. The second case was his wife who passed away on April 26th. This is the individual who had flown to Johannesburg, and this was likely human-to-human transmission from case 1. The third case is in the ICU in Johannesburg and is improving and was on the ship when the other 2 cases were having symptoms. This one had samples taken that isolated the Andes strain of the hantavirus. The fourth case passed away on the ship, unfortunately, and cases 5 and 6 are stable in the Netherlands. Case 7 is confirmed and is in Switzerland and self-isolating. Case 8 is probable and is stable, self-isolating in St. Helena. At this time, the World Health Organization recommends that those who are potential contacts that they need to watch for symptoms for 42 days to be on the safe side because this has a long incubation period. They do not recommend any travel restrictions at this time, and that the public health systems around the world are doing their best to monitor the situation and inform the public on a regular basis. If I hear anything else that's important, I will let you know, so make sure you're following to stay informed.
We've now got a rough ETA for when that hantavirus hit MV Hondius is expected to arrive here from Cape Verde. That ETA, we're told, is this Sunday. And as we wait for that ship to come, it really does represent different emotions for different communities. For the people on that ship, it means relief and an end to their ordeal. Overnight, CBS News got a message from one of the passengers. His name is Qassem bin Hattuta. He told us that everyone is in high spirits, people are smiling, but also wearing masks, social distancing. Importantly, though, he said that no one currently has Hanta-related symptoms, and he hopes it continues that way. And then on the flip side, there is fear and there is anger here on the Canary Islands, that the Hondius is getting closer and closer, and that maybe someone does have Hanta on that ship because it has an incubation period of up to 8 weeks. Now, the presidents of these islands initially said no to that ship. The mayor of Granadia de Abona, near the south side of this island, and where the Hondius is expected to drop anchor, said it goes against what is desired. It's really kind of NIMBY feeling, and not in my backyard kind of anger. And that's because the government here actually can't say no. They don't have that power. This island chain is Spanish controlled, and it has to do what the Spanish government tells it to do. There's been discussion, probably debate, about setting up a field hospital on the ground in the south here to check the health